Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell. You'll get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And when I'm not asking Bruce, hey, how big was Batista's? Well, you know. One of the things I like to do is help people save money. And if you're watching this video right now and you're in a 30-year loan, man, you're overpaying your single biggest bill and you may not even realize it. I want you to do a little experiment for me. Take your calculator out, multiply your monthly house payment by 360 payments. That's how many payments there are in a 30-year loan. That big scary number, that's your total of payments. You're looking at that number? You know you can do better. Keep more of your own money right now and go to savewithconrad.com. Or maybe you've got credit card debt. Man, it's not a matter of if I can save you money with that. Your average interest rate on a credit card is more than 20%. And by the way, all the interest you pay on those credit cards, it's not tax deductible. Whereas the mortgage interest, well, that is tax deductible. So if you owe this debt, it's up to you how to pay it back. Doesn't it make sense to get the cheapest rate possible and the greatest tax deduction possible? Find out how much money you can save right now for free at savewithconrad.com. You don't need perfect credit. Even scores in the 500s can be approved, and it's no cost out of pocket. But maybe best of all, we're licensed in more than 40 states. We can help more families than ever before. But how much can we save you? Find out right now for free with a quick quote from savewithconrad.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the main event.
Welcome to WHW Monday. Tony Schiavone and Conrad Thompson.
Jim Crockett First Arcade, 605 NWA. TV title, Cajun Omni, the Bunkhouse Stampede. Flair and Horseman, Garvin, Bogey, Magnum, Dusty, Express Tag Team. Turner, Bodden, Mid-South Joint World Championship Wrestling.
Talking about the great years of World Championship Wrestling, the NWA, and Jim Crockett Promotions.
Tony and Friends North, they win. Look, Schiavone's back again. World title split off, center stage, Bischoff. Disney, Hogan, and Nitro. New World Order and The Crow. Thunder, Russo, Arquette Champ, Vinnie Mac, simulcast. Tony's back with Conrad, not your classy podcast. Watch along, try not to laugh. Lowest rules can't pass. This wasn't the initial plan. Thompson's a good-looking man. Klondike Bill, make a chant. Tommy, you come over here.
What happened when?
WHW Monday. And now, let's go to the ring. And here's your co-host. Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. You know, I asked Bill one time, I said, Bill, what would happen if you were with a girl, had no body odor or anything about her? He said, I'd go tell her to put some sweats on and run about 2 miles and then come back and see me. That was Klondike Bill.
He liked the smell.
Yeah, the dirtier, it's just, that's the way he was. He liked the bodily fluids and smell.
My God.
Yeah, my God is right.
Oh my God! Tony's back with Conrad, not your classic podcast. Watch along, try not to laugh. Lowest rules can't pass. Wasn't the initial plan. Thompson's a good-looking man. Klondike Bill, make a chant. Tommy, you come over here.
Hey, slapdicks, Tony Schiavone here. Conrad had too much fun in Las Vegas and is nowhere to be found. We should be so lucky. But I've been assured he'll be back next week. So what we're going to do this week is have some fun without him, because What Happened When presents the best of WHW Monday. Tony Gets Extreme. Some might find it hard to believe that I'd never seen ECW before we started watching it for the podcast, but it's true. It is. The first episode we ever did on ECW was the first time these eyes had seen it. First time ever. And I quickly learned what else these eyes had missed from our episode on Barely Legal. In one word, Francine.
So here you go. I need you to give us some commentary on what you're seeing here.
Come on, Francine. Oh, I swear comes Francine. Said on my face, Francine, I'm in love with you. She was dressed. Whoa. Wait, hold on a second here. Thank you very much for the security departing ways here so I could see. Does he just have like a niggle? Oh, she does. She's got a T-back on here. That's all she's got on.
That's how old you are. You call that a T-back.
Or what are they called now?
Thongs.
That's a thong. Wow.
Have you heard the thong song?
No, are you going to play that for me too?
Do you want me to?
Yeah, I may have heard the thong song. I'm not sure.
I think you probably have.
Yeah. She's all live there, Francine is.
what's up,
Man, live.
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm just waiting.
So do they do some pretty good business with her?
To the mall or something.
With Francine?
Yeah, so to speak.
They did a lot of business with Francine.
Did they?
Francine's husband is a listener to this show.
Wow.
But he's in on the gag, though. He expects you to be Tony.
Okay. Did he wrestle her husband?
No. He's a real human.
And here's one of the, I think one of the more underrated performers. And I say that because I always did like Shane Douglas. Thought he was a good talker, had a great deep bass voice, was very expressive and could do a lot of good things. And, there was that. You know how to stand in the ring? So you had to take that left leg and cock it out there to the left.
I love that that's your compliment. Man, didn't Francine know how to stand?
She did. Look at her. Look how she's standing. I always say that beautiful women know how to stand, and she knew how to stand. And I know her husband probably knows that as well.
You know, ECW, when they came back in the WWE, the name of the show, One Night Stand.
No. Okay. So now they roll in a little high spot there with the franchise, Shane Douglas, who apparently is a champion here. Wow. Francine just bent right over there towards us. And I don't know what champion he is here. He's not the ECW champion. Who's the guy with the neck brace? Is that a guy that franchise put out?
That is Pitbull, but I'm going to let you guess his real name.
Okay, so this is the footage of Pitbull coming in the ring, I guess.
He just threw down a man with a halo.
He grabbed a guy with a halo and yanked him down.
And who is this guy with the mask talking, Tony?
I don't know. If I could hear his voice, I probably know who it is. I don't know who it is. Good God. What, I guess they're just showing old footage here, right?
They're trying to explain the backstory here.
The backstory. Okay. So this is Pitbull. I don't know who it is. What's his real name?
His real name was Gary Wolf.
Okay. He's passed on, I guess.
Believe so.
Okay.
No, that's the other Pitbull that passed away. I'm sorry.
Okay. All right. So this is going to be what? Another Pitbull? Oh yeah. Pitbull 2. Pitbull 2 comes in with a chain.
Sort of like Mr. Wrestling 2.
Yeah. Mr. Wrestling 2. So we got Pitbull, who got his neck wrenched while he was in a halo. And here now is Pitbull 2. And he is taking the fight to Shane Douglas, the franchise, and a big back body drop. And a spin wheel kick off the right side ropes. So Pitbull number 2, can you know the backstory on him? Is he still wrestling? Did he come to WCW and I forgot who the fuck he was? As we know, I forget a lot of people.
No, he did not. He passed away in 2003.
Okay.
He died at just 36 years old of a heart attack.
Holy shit.
He was from New Jersey. His real name was, of course, not Pitbull. It was Anthony Durante, and he may or may not have had some issues with the law once upon a time. But yeah, he started wrestling a long time ago, and obviously this was like his big deal. You know, I think at this point he'd probably been wrestling 9 or 10 years, and I think he came through Larry Sharp's school.
So they go down to the mat, and this is maybe the first grab a side headlock and sell it on the mat that we've seen in this entire show. What are we now? We're about an hour and 10 minutes into this or so. Yeah. And they grab a headlock, and as you can see, the fans ain't buying it at all.
Well, yeah, I mean, it really is sort of, I mean, everybody's on their feet, and I guess there's a lot to talk about here. You've got two things going on. Go ahead. Who's
Bubblehead over here on the right, down at ringside?
That's, they escorted Shane Douglas in. Shane Douglas had so much heat here when he shook Gary Wolf in the halo. You see another one on the opposite side over there.
Right. Okay. That was the security I got it now.
They're trying to really keep the fans at bay because they've had like near riots. People were chasing them to their cars and trying to cut tires and run them off the road.
Whoa. Wait a minute. Seriously?
Yeah. People took it very serious because, this is a very local promotion. A lot of these people here live in South Philadelphia and know these guys in real life. And, they knew that he had a real neck injury. He really did legitimately break his neck from a single arm DDT that was delivered by Shane Douglas. And he really did have to have surgery, and he really was in a halo, and it was a legitimate thing. And then Paul Heyman, of course, decided to turn it into an angle, which a lot of promoters would, and it had real fucking heat. So these are smart fans, but they were able to say, okay, this is too fucking far. And they took it serious.
Well, I got to say that if ECW fans say, you've taken it too far, then you've done a good job.
Yeah.
I mean, let's hear it for Shane Douglas and all this stuff, and Paul Heyman for doing that. Oh, did I tell you that I got to see Paul when I was recently at Raw, and talked to him in the backstage area for just a tad?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he didn't seem to want to talk to me, which is fine. Don't know why. I don't know why I would have heat with him. He was nice, but he was distant.
Well, I saw him at the Hall of Fame, and he gave me a lot of time.
Yeah. So. Well, that's because you and he work for the same company.
Well, that's probably right.
It's fucking sellout. So they actually would chase Shane Douglas out of the arena and try to crash his car and slash his tire. That is unheard of. That's old school shit, man. That's like the story of Ole Anderson getting cut in Greenville, South Carolina.
Right. And that's the level of heat that he had here. And, he was off a run that maybe wasn't as awesome as he and a lot of people in the WWF expected. He was the Dean Douglas character up there. Did you ever see Dean Douglas?
No.
So he was a big deal here in ECW before he left. And he goes up there and they turned him into a teacher of sorts. And they send him out in like a collegiate, like gown, almost like the Genius. Sure. And he's in the back with a chalkboard, sort of scratching his fingernails on the chalkboard and sort of giving everybody a rundown of what their match would have been or could have been and what their grade was. And he called himself, Dean Douglas, and it went over like a turd in a punch bowl, as you can imagine.
Yeah.
Right. And, he comes back here and he's sort of anti everything. He's anti WWF. He's anti the Clique, Vince McMahon. He's anti Eric Bischoff. He's anti Dick Flair.
Right.
He's just like sort of the anti-establishment guy, and he's calling himself the franchise because he was he was the first ECW champion. He won the NWA tournament in 94 and then threw down the NWA belt and picked up the ECW belt and called himself the very first ECW champion instead of the next NWA champion. So he's a big part of ECW, and he's working a tag team wrestler here for the television title, but they're making it work just based on the heat.
Sure. Absolutely. And you could just, you can, there's just, am I wrong to say there's Marry Me Francine? How about that? Am I wrong to say that there's a different type of vibe in the crowd here during this match?
No, I think it's an unenviable position to follow 6 high flying Japanese, almost cruiserweight types who are just high action all the time. And now you've got like a big bruiser type in Pitbull and a more traditional classic, wrestler in Shane Douglas. And I think it's really hard to follow that, especially when you've had, lots of crazy action so far with the tag team match, which was really more of a tornado match. And then you've got Rob Van Dam with the chair, just pulling out all the crazy high spots. And now that's 6-man. And now we've got more traditional hey, we're doing heat. And you can see Shane here trying to do the pile driver, and he's trying to tell a story here, which nobody has done so far in this show. It's just been crazy displays of high spots and whatnot, but he's trying to sell that, hey, he's trying to break his neck too.
Right. And, but again, it's like I said, for the first time in the show, we've seen someone snatch a headlock and go to the mat. So this is something completely different. And again, I was just wondering if it was the legitimate heat that Shane Douglas had, or that the fans just are not buying it because they want high spot after high spot, table after chair, after hardcore, after all kinds of bullshit. And they're not getting it here. But the fact is, we're getting a solid match from Shane Douglas.
No, absolutely. If you're a wrestling fan, then you're probably a Shane Douglas fan, because he's very much a traditional wrestler, very good in the ring, a strong promo. He had a good character. He was believable. But, if you were looking for crazy hot spots, he's probably not your guy. And that's not a knock on Shane. It's just not his deal. But in fairness, you probably, I don't know anything about booking wrestling, but I do know that if it's all high paced, high action, high flying, eventually they don't matter. And so you've got to sort of get them up, bring them down, get them up, bring them down. And maybe that's what they're doing here, because if they're going to follow this with, some crazy hardcore stuff from Terry Funk or Sandman, or maybe, some crazy tables and flips with Sabu, you've got to be able to sort of take them up and bring them down.
I'm sorry, I heard you talking, but Francine got on the side of the hard camera and put her back to us, and that took my attention away. You were talking about something. I don't know what it was.
Have you Googled Francine?
No, I have not. I'll let her husband do that.
Well, I don't think he has a problem with you Googling her, but
okay.
I do think if you Googled her, you would find some things you would be interested in, because she did lots of bikini shoots for the wrestling magazines back in the day. It's probably your thing.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Why? Okay. I'm Googling Francine.
Yeah. Type in Francine ECW and then just start clicking around and roll Tide.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there you go. I am. Go Dogs. Wow. All right.
See, that doesn't work. When you say go Dogs about a woman, that doesn't work. Let's just stick with Roll Tide.
I ain't saying that, man. I have a lot of time for Francine, without question. But believe it or not, it's not the only thing that gets my attention. Anyone listening to this clip from our Heatwave 98 episode can hear that I'm coming around to the idea that ECW had some pretty cool stuff going on, much to the delight of our good friend and ECW diehard Conrad.
I need you to call this, Tony.
All right. My God, they're going up top. What are they going to try to do? What are they going to try to do? Oh, my God, a Frankensteiner! A Frankensteiner off the top turnbuckle onto the table. ECW, ECW, ECW. Where's Francine? Where's Francine? That's what I've been chanting while they've been chanting ECW.
How great is that?
Oh, that is absolutely spectacular. Wow. And then here's my only knock on that. How do you continue after that, right?
Well, now we got to set people on fire.
Well, that would be the only thing left to do. I mean, like, for instance, right? He just took a Frankensteiner from the top to the table. He should be dead. But I bet you that some bitch gonna kick out. No, he's not. He got hit with oh, they pulled the wool around on my eyes that time. And now Jerry Lynn's gonna pick him up. Boy, the referee just knows how to turn his back, because, as we said, he is bald. Here come the girl now. Watch out. The real ass kicking gonna start now, because she could actually beat everybody's ass here. Wow, look at this. How she picked him up with ease. Do a little crucifix drop there, darling. Go ahead.
Oh, cooter shot.
Oh, my God. Oh, the cooter shot. Oh, God. And the fans pop for the cooter shot. Oh, good God. Is he gonna cooter shot her too? Jesus.
How great is that?
Oh.
The pickup spot kicks him in the ding ding.
Oh, Jesus. For just absolute pure entertainment, you can't beat this, man.
Look at this.
You can't.
Pile driver on a woman. Tombstone pile driver on a woman.
Okay, Cooter shot at one. He Tombstone pile drove her on another. And meanwhile, where's my opponent? Oh, there he is. Let's go get him. Oh, Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy.
Here we go.
This is just the opening match. Oh.
Are you ready for this?
Oh, my God.
Tombstone pile driver off the top.
Oh, 1, 2, 3. That's it.
What'd you think?
Every bit of 4 stars. Every bit, man.
I loved it.
Wow. Yes, sir. You know, he tried his best to protect JL when he came off with that Tombstone pile driver by tucking his knees that time and having him land. But something like that's going to blow out your knee as well. I mean,
Meltzer would say that the finish looks scary, and a top rope tombstone, man, that's not something you're going to see very often. I loved it.
No, that's one of those that you save for a pay-per-view, I would hope. And see how credible is limping around.
And look on the right-hand side, Jerry Lynn is touching his middle finger to his thumb over and over and over.
Yeah.
By the way, Jerry Lynn going to be at StarCast. He's a referee for All In.
Oh, he is.
Yep.
Wow. What a night. What a weekend that is going to be in Chicago. Holy sniker-molies. All right. I'm with you, man. And another Haviland Express Loop guy. Looks like they're changing oil right now. Looking into my car. Is this over? Is Nicole Bass going to kick somebody else's ass? She got it real slowly.
Well, she's selling.
Well, I know that, but I mean, they got it. I thought maybe the way she got up dramatically that she would just walk over and kick Jerry Lynn right in the balls. Wow. Here's my man, Lance Storm, buddy. Lance Storm was a hell of a performer for WCW. He really, really was.
So clearly they cut out a promo or a package or something there because immediately everybody's out of the ring. And Lance Storm, before he was in WCW, was here as a member of the Triple Threat. But before he had any sort of association like that.
When he used to grab the microphone and said, "Can I be serious for a moment?" I thought that always made me pop. The way he would do it, looking serious amongst all this bullshit that was going on around him.
There's the member of the Triple Threat I was referencing, Mr. Chris Candido. And here comes the main event. Look at that.
Oh, woo. Wow. Wait, wasn't she in the WWF at this time?
Yes, she was, but she had permission from Vince to come along and do this. And a show in Louisiana, during a table spot that went awry, Candido nearly had his ear removed. So he's wearing protective headgear now just to make sure that his floppy ear that's about to come off any minute won't come off here in the middle of the match. But speaking of things that are coming off, here's Sunny. I think about her every time I Skype you.
You do?
Well, cause I don't have to be Skyping you. I could Skype somebody else, but decide not to. Do you?
Yeah. You're Skyping her. Sunny was with us at the NWA Fan Fest and Mid-Atlantic Fan Fest. And I got to see her and, work with her. I loved Chris. I loved her. I thought they were just hardworking kids. And, another tragic story with Chris Candido, man.
Yeah, it is. It's a little sad, but
yeah,
man, I loved him as a performer. He was a sawed off, jacked up motherfucker who knew how to work and was entertaining as he wanted to be. And how about this pose? Yeah.
He's doing a Steiner thing here, isn't he?
He is.
Yeah. Running around the ring like Rick Steiner.
How
about that?
She's a lot better looking than the Steiner brothers though.
Yeah. Well, that doesn't take much. Well, wow. Okay. So now we have seen in this show in the first, how long we gone? We've gone about 30 minutes here. We have seen Francine, Nicole Bass, and Sunny. Wow.
ECW knew how to cater to their audience, did they not?
Yes, they were. That's exactly what I was thinking. They absolutely knew what they were doing. Because I'm not so sure I'm seeing many females in the stands here.
You know what? Let me correct something we just discussed.
All right.
She wasn't here on special permission. She had been up until this point. She was fired 2 days prior.
Oh, okay.
she apparently violated her talent contract that expired in late 2001. And everybody sort of assumed that was going to be coming, but she was mandated by the WWF at the end of June to undergo treatment for an alleged substance abuse problem or be terminated. She went to treatment, said she didn't have a problem, and then didn't undergo the treatment, and then never responded to their attempts to reach her. And they had agreed she could work somewhere else as long as she didn't use the name Sunny. And she didn't here. She started referring to herself as Tammy Lynn Sitch, and then eventually just Tammy is what she'll be referred to here. And Meltzer would comment, Candido came out with Sunny, who looked like she hadn't slept in days. And she does in the face look a little different than we remember from her time in the WWE, but clearly she was in the grips of some personal challenges here.
Right.
That maybe still have some of her attention 20 years later.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. And again, that's another, in many ways, tragic story. But I mean, take a look at the performers that they have to open up the show. I mean, you got Jerry Lynn, you got Justin Credible, you got Lance Storm, you got Candido.
I mean, these are four, and I know a lot. That's why I'm glad to watch this with you, because a lot of guys would say, oh, it was all garbage wrestling and, you know, they were just brawlers. And it's like, no, I mean, the four guys we've seen so far are legit fucking workers. And Shane Douglas, you know, he was out in the first segment. He is too.
Right.
Like, so you've got 5 real wrestlers, like traditional style wrestlers, not, I'm going to hit you with a trash can and, you know, jab this knife in your back.
Right. Well, you know, I'm telling you, I really believe this, that being able to work a match still is what gets you in there. I know it's a male soap opera. I know it's the storylines that draw you in, and I do understand that, but you can have great storylines and you go watch a match and you go, man, that sucked. And that whole storyline loses something. And, I still say a great work rate is what brings you in. Cause you leave I as a wrestling fan, I walked away from many matches, live events that I went to see, saying that fucking sucked. And I pissed my money away. Give you a perfect example. Blackjack Mulligan, I'm telling stories now. Blackjack Mulligan wrestled Thunderbolt Patterson. Thunderbolt Patterson came to Mid-Atlantic and he was there. And they had him wrestle Blackjack Mulligan at the Richmond Arena. And a friend of mine and I went to the Richmond Arena and saw that match. It lasted like 3 minutes, and it was a piece of shit. And we were so angry about that because the match itself didn't entertain us. This is entertaining. And the fans that are ringside are thinking, they're going to leave that night saying, boy, I got my money's worth. Especially the fans at ringside says, I just was bullshitting with Nicole Bass, and now I get to look at the backside of Tammy, and I get to see some great spots, plus a Frankensteiner on the table from the top. So yeah, I do appreciate all this. And Conrad, I didn't, as you probably know, until you and I started watching this stuff.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you. So I'm digging it.
There's one thing we're known for on WHW. It's hardcore analysis of wrestling's greatest moments. And when we run short of that, which is usually the case more often than not, it's dick jokes. From our November to Remember 97 episode, I found out what gumming means. And we also found out if someone said something about lasagna.
Taz,
how about that?
Taz mowed him over. It took 1 minute and 29 seconds. He retains. It gets half a star.
Ooh. I'd like to apologize for Taz for talking over his finish right there. And I meant no disrespect to him at all. So anyway, where does this rank as far? Look at this. Hoist his ass up. Wow. Where does this rank as far as ECW events?
Oh, it's one of the fucking worst.
Really?
Yeah. In the Wrestling Observer reader poll, it only got 32.6% thumbs up.
Oh my God. I thought, oh, go get the microphone now. You want to talk over this or should we just ignore it?
No, we'll just ignore it.
Okay.
Well, not because I'm worried about pissing him. He's already mad. We said his name. We're not supposed to say his name. He would prefer if we didn't say his name.
Yeah. I'm mad. Look at me. I got the microphone. I'm mad. Yeah.
Hey,
I
brother,
came here.
I heard Schiavone talking shit on his podcast, brother.
Who's that motherfucker at ringside?
He sticks needles up his ass, brother. That's what he's saying in real life. Like, because by the way, I guess we should tell you that's Brockus, who is on loan from the WWF. And there you go. He's pointing his ass saying he sticks needles up his ass.
Well, wait a minute. They actually loaned people to Paul Heyman?
Yeah. Al Snow is here on loan.
Good God.
Chris Candido, just incredible. A lot of those guys came down from the WWF.
That's kind of unheard of in this business.
Man, they were trying to do everything they could to counteract Ted Turner's money.
Yeah, the juggernaut that was WCW. Can't stop that juggernaut. Oh, guess what? The motherfuckers stopped themselves. What the fuck? There doesn't a day go by when I just think about what we were. And look, if I can, and I don't want to disrespect Taz here by talking about something else during what is obviously a very fucking hot angle. But you've gotten to know Eric Bischoff, and I think you can see why just by talking to him, why WCW prospered under his leadership. Fuck. He's beating the fuck out of this guy, isn't he? Holy shit. That guy was tapping before he put the move on. Hold on, he was fucking tapping. Okay, we interrupt this match to bring you Bam Bam Bigelow.
Have you seen this?
What, this spot?
Yeah.
No.
You're going to be happy here. So Spike Dudley on the ground in the ECW arena.
Yeah.
Bigelow picks him up, presses him over his head, and are you ready for this?
Oh, I think we did see that.
And now they're crowd surfing him.
Hell fucking yeah. They're going to bring him all the way around the ring. They should have brought him all the way around the ring. Back to Bam Bam, let him throw to the other side, bring him all the way around the ring. Okay. Look at that guy with teeth, with the lack of teeth in his head. This must have been an Alabama show, you think?
They're at the ECW arena, you dickhead.
Okay. Just what? Well, then.
They're probably up there with some of your relatives.
Yeah, probably so. I have a lot of Pennsylvania relatives.
I heard that Mama Schiavone would gum one. Are you okay?
Oh. I'm sorry, everybody. I'm just thinking, is there any?
Are you okay?
Is there? Nobody's safe from. Nobody is safe from you. I'll talk about your mom. I'll talk about your grandma. I'll talk about your fucking ancestors that came off the motherfucking boat. Oh my God. Are we getting ready to see Francine come out?
So here you go. There's Tommy Rich doing some mic work. Of course, Tommy Rich and Tracy Smothers, when you think about them, if there's one thing for sure, it's that they're full-blooded Italians. Yeah,
boy. And they sound like it too, right?
Yeah. And Tommy Rich is being introduced here as being from Nashville, Italy.
Somebody say something about lasagna.
Oh my God. Roll the credits. We can't beat that. We won't beat that.
Somebody say something about Olive Garden. Who's this black guy with white sunglasses? Is this Jay-Z with a tan? What the hell? Let's all get in a ring. Oh, is this our buddy Joel Gertner? Hell yeah, buddy. Give me some Dudleys. You know what's wrong about this?
What's wrong with this?
I has Bubba got on the microphone and told everybody his mother to go fuck themselves yet?
Not yet.
Okay. Hey, I can see why the Dudleys are in the Hall of Fame.
I mean, without question. You know what's funny is my good close personal friend, as you like to say, Dave Milliken, was not the huge ECW fan I was. He thought it was okay, but he's more of a Memphis guy. And so just to annoy him, whenever we would be having a conversation with someone, I would say, "Who's the best tag team of all time, and why is it the Dudleys?" and then I would ask things like, "Hey, top 5 tag teams ever besides the Dudleys, who are the other 4?" And it just annoyed the shit out of him. But I could really make an argument that the Dudleys should be on that list. But when I started to say, "Oh man, they're up there with the Rock and Rolls and the Midnights and the Steiners and the Road Warriors," people get really mad.
I listen, I'm with you. I would have never thought that until I started watching these shows, but fucking love the Dudleys.
Can you imagine? Let's just pretend for a minute this is possible. 1991's Steiner Brothers against 1997 Dudleys.
Wow.
Wouldn't book it? They'd be killing each other.
Fucking book it, man. Absolutely. I'd book it. Am I wrong to say that there is something that reminds me, when I see Gertner, that reminds me of David Penzer?
I thought you said it was David Penzer sucking on an air hose.
Oh, there's a sign that says Little Dick.
Well, because that's Big Dick in the ring right there.
Okay, so Big Dick in the ring, and then I guess Little Dick on the outside.
You weren't even there.
Well, I'm just kind of freestyling. You've heard that term, haven't you?
Yeah, you're stealing all my shit right now.
Yeah. Hypothetically. Yeah.
What are you doing?
Rumor and innuendo.
You're just fucking running through all my gimmicks.
Yeah. Roll Tide on that.
This is the greatest night in the history of our great sport, without question.
Putting butts in the seats. Yes, sir. So is this Big Dick right here? What move are you talking about? You thought something was coming and didn't hear?
I thought maybe he's trying for it again here. Check this out. Are you ready?
Yep.
Are you ready?
No.
Are you ready?
What the fuck?
Now, in fairness, Tanaka kept his head up, took it on his shoulders and back. Still, what the fuck? And look at the crowd.
Fuck? Listen, I get it. He kept his head up. But you still, hell, you could fucking fracture a vertebrae. Lower back. Blow out a shoulder.
Look at that table. It's obliterated.
Is Jeff Jones going to take a bump in this?
I don't think so.
Shit.
Probably took one after the show. Can you imagine how many quote unquote rats Jeff had to take care of after these shows? Of course, I'm talking about the Fleabag hotels. I said, watch this move. You ready for this?
Oh. He just fucking, I can see why you like Tanaka just cause the fucking bumps he's taking.
Dude, this is wild.
Look at the size of this guy going off the top. Fuck. 1, 2, and he's still kicked out.
Well, why wouldn't he?
I don't know. after throwing him to the table. Jesus Christ. Got to take his chair shot like a man, guy. It's ECW. Holy shit. Look at the. Okay. He hit him with the top of the chair there, where that hand is. And that's the real hard part of the chair. That's the part of the chair that doesn't give. That part, when it lands on you, is going to do some damage. Oh, fuck. What year did Mike Awesome take his life? Do you remember off the top of your head?
I can find out. I think it was like 07, but I could be wrong.
Jeez.
Yeah. February 17th, 2007. And by the way, he pops up on Nitro, in April of 2000. So not too terribly long after this.
Right.
By the spring of 2000, both of these guys are gone.
I would think as an athlete that you would be happy. Maybe I'm wrong. Just for your body's sake, happy to leave ECW and go to WCW. I mean, you would have to think that, well, of course, we had a big TV contract. We were Turner, and I get that, but you didn't have to do crazy shit like this. Unless maybe you wanted to do crazy shit like this and thought, well, I can take this act and take it to WCW. But a guy like Mike Awesome, thinking, wow, I'll work at WCW and I want to take all these crazy fucking chair bumps and table bumps and fucking crazy shit. Look at Jeff. Make sure the table is upright. What do they go fucking do now? Okay, he threw him out of the ring, back first to a table. This has got to be fun. And
It's wild, isn't it, Bubba?
yeah, it is, man. Okay. Got him on the chair. Going to center himself. He's going to do his big frog splash from the top.
What if he is, motherfucker?
Well, I mean, look, whoa. What's amazing about what Mike Awesome could do here was that he did things that cruiserweights were doing.
Right. But he could also sling your ass over the top rope with a power bomb down to the floor onto a table.
Yes.
He could do whatever he wanted.
Right. Oh, dude. Yep, that wanted. Jesus Christ. Your Mike's looking around like, what? I won? I killed a man? I won? Now, what's going on here? Oh, Taz?
I mean, this is a pretty cool deal here. Taz is doing what he can to sort of pass the torch and,
Yeah, it's coronation is what it is.
quote unquote, make a guy. And there you go. Mike Awesome is the guy to run with the ball, lead the company now. Pretty cool moment, huh?
I think it's great. And I think it's great that Taz did this. Shows a lot of class on his part. And he walks away, and there's your new champion. Great moment, man. How many stars?
I'm so glad you asked.
Mm-hmm.
3 3/4.
Okay.
Awesome. Here's what he wrote. Awesome did a German suplex followed by a spear for a near fall. He used the chair off the top for a near fall, then delivered a weak chair to Tanaka's chest. Fans sort of groaned at that. Both guys wound up standing on the top rope with the table set up. Their footing wasn't perfect, and one of them losing balance would have killed the moment, not to mention both could have been hurt badly. Anyway, Awesome delivered the power bomb through the table and got the pin. 3 3/4 stars. I should mention that Tanaka here had quite the schedule. Meltzer would say he flew from Japan to work ECW in Buffalo last Saturday, then flew back to Japan and worked through Saturday night in Japan before flying back to Chicago. So that's 4 18-hour flights in a 1 week period. That'll run anybody down.
Yeah, I remember taking one flight from Japan back, and it completely knocked me out the next day. I never thought that jet lag was real, but it was from Japan.
How about 4 flights of that in a week?
Jesus.
That's a lot.
I do need to say that. Okay. All right, Jeff, we got it. We got your bangs. We get it. But I do need to say that.
So he needed a judge for them bangs. All right. So here we go. Fun little Raven promo here. We'll play the audio.
We fought an epic battle of mythic proportions. We had a friendship based on love and a hatred based on friendship.
Kramer knows what's coming and he can't stop it!
You scarred my face. You battered me unmercifully. And you took my girl.
Oh, what's the matter? Oh, is it because you're Raven's girlfriend?
No, I'm pregnant!
The pills say 1 day at a time, moron! What are you, an idiot?
What do you care? It's not yours! No, stop it! Stop it! It's not his either! It's Tommy's.
The one thing that you could never do was beat me, Tommy. You could never beat me, and I always pinned you. Tommy Dreamer, you will return to the inescapable horror of the classroom of your youth, except this time, you will not graduate.
So we're showing lots of clips of Tommy and Raven, one of the most notorious and iconic feuds in ECW history. And of course, it all came to an end at WrestlePalooza in 1997 when Tommy finally beat Raven after years of never being able to pin him. And that, of course, happens because Raven is going to WCW. But he's back now. And unbelievably, the prior month, he returned to help Tommy beat the Dudley Boys in a surprise. And nobody even thought Raven was in the company, but what they didn't know is that Eric Bischoff held a meeting in WCW and said, if you're not happy and you want to leave, you can leave. So ask for your release. And they had one taker, and that was Raven. And he left, pops up in ECW as a surprise, nails the DDT, and the Dudleys are now off to the WWF. And Tommy Dreamer has finally gotten championship gold in ECW, but unbelievably, it's with his biggest rival of his career, Raven, the guy he thought he got rid of 2 years prior. Really, really well done story here by Paul Heyman. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh, yeah. This is good stuff, man. This is character development. And what I mean by character development, this is getting you identify with these people.
Right.
And that's what he was so good at doing, apparently. And I was apparently unaware of. Still one of my favorites. out of the ring. Just because he and I connected on so many levels with comic books and superheroes and fantasy, and we like the same things. He had a lot of great tweets that were out there about Game of Thrones. Just a cool guy, man. Looks a lot different too. My God, does he ever? I guess we all do.
And there's our referee, or our ring announcer. Done that twice today, Steven DeAngelis. But coming out, it's Joel Gertner to one of the biggest pops of the night. Meltzer would even say Joel Gertner came out and got a huge pop, one of the biggest of the night for that matter, and called out Tommy Dreamer and Francine for an interview. And you're not going to believe what Meltzer wrote here. No joking here. Francine is even skinnier than 2 weeks ago. And while the stick arms and stick legs and huge boobs is in, at this age, it can't be healthy. She almost looks like Ally McBeal, but even more facially drawn, except for the implants. Dreamer says he's not out there to do a babyface promo, and then kissed ass to the local fans talking about Sammy Sosa. But
how dare he talk of Francine like that?
I knew you were going to say that. Really excited.
Here she comes. Wish I could say that in real life.
Wait, well, are you breathing? Are you with us?
Yeah, I'm checking out the, yeah, I'm breathing. I'm just checking out I like her attire. I think it's very flattering for her.
Flattering.
She knows how to walk. See how she puts one foot in front of the other.
I think you could argue that's probably the best Francine ever looked. I don't know why Meltzer's being so,
I don't either. Maybe because, I don't know, maybe because she didn't call him. Always helped the people that called him. Well, she knew how to get in the ring too, didn't she? Oh man.
Shook it on the way in. That's your jam, ain't it?
That is. I need to marry this girl.
She's already married, Tony.
If she needs to dump her husband, I need to dump Lois and marry this girl. Let's do it today.
Today? I mean, well,
today.
Oh, look at her. How about Tommy knew what's up? Hey, I dropped my belt. Will you pick it up?
I'd do it again. Let's drop it and have you pick it up on the other side.
You just want it against the hard cam.
The very hard cam at this time. Hey, how about our buddy Joel Gertner? Great help for us, isn't he?
He's the man.
I got a lot of time for Joel.
Everybody does.
Yeah. Not only that, his gimmick back then was wonderful. Although, smart me up on the neck brace. Was this part of an angle? Did he always do this?
He has had his neck broken.
Oh, well, bless his heart. And he's got a bow tie on the neck brace.
Isn't that great? That's why he keeps wearing it. It's good stuff.
I worked with Tommy Dreamer a little bit in MLW with him. A lot of respect for him. It's amazing. And of course, I've been with him on his, he's part of Busted Open and been with him on a radio show. Got just, again, thanks to you and thanks to opening up my eyes to this. There he's talking about Sammy Sosa now. Just a lot of respect for a lot of the guys, and he's one of them. And of course, Joel, and then of course the lady on the right, I'm just absolutely in love with.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is a wrestling podcast. And keeping that concept front and center, we bring this December to Remember moment to you, featuring the most amazing entrance I've ever seen. Melina and her legs. Go Dogs!
him as Johnny, whatever he's wrestling for now. So he's in Impact right now. So he's Johnny Impact. Okay. And that became his deal. So he's been Johnny Nitro, Johnny Impact, Johnny whatever. The guy on the left is Joey Mercury, who is a listener of this program. And they together are Eminem. And here comes the best female entrance in the history of wrestling. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Melina gonna make her way into the ring. One leg up.
Oh my God.
What do you think's gonna happen? Two legs up. And there she goes.
Oh my God.
How about that? Thought you might like
wow.
that.
Is she still in the business at all?
She still does appearances at conventions and cons and things like that, but no, she's not actively involved on a weekly recurring television role.
Wow. Well, that was a pretty spectacular entrance, and a little tip to the cap to these. I guess they're showing now some of the angles leading to this. How about that buzzsaw graphic they got there?
Yeah, man, they're trying to make ECW look and feel different and more hardcore, but it's really anything but.
Don't you think, though, that on the surface now, just looking at this and hearing what you've said about the show, that there was no way that an ECW could survive in the WWE universe?
Well, it didn't. So of course it couldn't.
Well, of course it couldn't, but even going into that.
Well, I think most people worried, would they let Paul do what Paul does? And if they do, then it should work because he'll have someone else. You have to appreciate the theory and the thought process behind that. And as we're talking about it, here come the Hardy Boys. While not actually ECW originals, I think most would agree those guys with all their crazy tables and ladders and chairs and Jeff jumping off of the highest thing he could find, they would have fit in the original ECW. Don't you think?
No, I don't think there's, without question. Yeah. Thank
you. I think that a lot of people thought, okay, the reason ECW went under was Paul was not a good businessman and Paul needed somebody to help him sort of handle the financing and handle, the promotion end of maybe licensing or marketing and things like that. But when it came to the actual creative, the storylines, if you will, if they'll just let Paul do what Paul does, this could be a success. This could be a hit. And man, I get that. That makes total sense to me. But it didn't happen.
No.
And none of these matches were really announced before the pay-per-view. There was essentially one match announced ahead of time and very little promotion. Ticket sales were soft. Pay-per-view sales were abysmal. And, the show kind of sucks. I mean, it's a 3-hour pay-per-view. And as you can probably tell from looking, it's 2 hours and 14 minutes.
Yeah.
So when you see a show go short like that, what's that tell you?
They said, fuck it.
They said, fuck it. If you listened last week, you get that. I guess I should tell you that the Figure 4 Weekly, and I know you're boys with Brian Alvarez these days, the headline of their issue that came out on the heels of this show was Heyman Down. And then the first paragraph is WWE seemingly put a bullet in the ECW brand Sunday night, December 3rd at the December to Dismember pay-per-view in Augusta, Georgia at the James Brown Arena. Come Monday, it turned out they only put a bullet in Paul Heyman. This was almost without question the worst promoted pay-per-view in company history. How about that?
Okay. The worst promoted. That's what he's not the worst booked. And not the worst work rate and the worst production, the worst promoted, right?
Yeah.
In other words, they put in no effort into this thing at all.
Well, I mean, so this is the ECW brand and nobody who's in the ring right now is actually on the ECW brand.
Okay. So what does that tell you, Conrad? You know what that tells me? And I know I'm into this conspiracy theory bullshit that I think Vince wanted ECW to die.
No,
in his heart of hearts.
I don't think he wanted it to die. I think he wants all the revenue he can get, but I do think it's never going to be a priority. If it's not Monday Night Raw, it's not a priority. And I don't think that can even be debated at this point.
Tomato, maybe. And one of the Armstrongs is the referee here. Steve Armstrong.
Who's now,
how about that? I believe it's Steve.
He's an agent backstage.
Yes, he is. Well, Jeff Hardy's kind of bulked up there. He's kind of slimmed down a great deal, of course.
It's Scott
and he's still
Armstrong,
getting quite a push
way.
in the WWE.
It's Scott Armstrong, just so you know.
Scott. All right, Scott, Steve, Brian.
Well, they're different humans. I mean,
I know they're different people, but
I know, at your advanced age, you probably just yell Matt and don't care if Chris or whoever wanders over.
Right. That's my advanced
help
age.
me out of my chair, God damn it. Hey, so by the way, I feel like, we haven't been talking about all the silly shirts that we've got going over at boxofgimmicks.com lately, but I showed you one right before we went on the air where you just recently announced that you have officially renamed your penis.
Right.
Big Josh. And we've got a Big Josh shirt that looks like you're wearing a flannel shirt with blue jean cutoffs and an arrow pointing down towards your crotchal area. And it says Big Josh. We've also got a She Pooted, Life Gigged Me, Fat Nostradamus, High Spot Fatigue, I Like to Whiz, Schiavone Coffee, Wake Up Conrad, They're Here, Dick to Go, Without Question, somebody talking about lasagna. We have got so many new items over at boxofgimmicks.com. It's absurd. So if you haven't already, go check it out. Of course, all your old school favorites are there. Tommy Young. And of course, Low Key Big Hog and Podcast Row and everything in between.
So Wake Up Conrad, They're Here. That is, and listen, on the Big Josh t-shirts, the blue jeans is a tip of the cap to Blue Chew.
And at this point, what isn't a tip of the cap? I feel like, when you answered Skype earlier, I saw some lines chopped up on your desk and I thought, man, he's not entertaining enough for him to be doing cocaine. What is he doing? And then your desk started moving and I realized you're over there trying to main vein Blue Chew.
Main vein Blue Chew. Right.
Hypothetically, how many of the boys in the ring right now do you think have tried a little Blue Chew?
I would think that if that girl was around, what's her name? It's
Melina.
I would think she would be worth the price of admission of Blue Chew, don't you?
Have you heard like the sort of underground cult like following that supports a certain question in shoot interviews where whenever anybody's asking a question, I think me and you've even gotten it at a live show before, where they'll set up a question that seems like it's very well thought out. And then when it's time to actually punctuate, they say, how big's Batista's dick? Have you heard about this?
No, I've not.
Well, it's a whole thing. So like somebody would be like, so Tony, when Monday Nitro was first announced and you had forever been the voice of WCW and even Jim Crockett Promotions and a staple on the flagship show, WCW Saturday Night, and many of the syndicated shows, and you'd done wraparounds and called all the pay-per-views. When it finally came down that Eric Bischoff was going to be in the main seat and you would not be heavily featured on the show, how big's Batista's dick? That's sort of the routine.
Okay.
Well, the rumor and innuendo is that someone involved in this match can answer that question.
Oh, gotcha.
And I'll let you figure out what exactly Jeff Hardy had to do to get Batista to show him.
Wow. Oh. All right. So here we've got a match going on. There you go, girl. We got a match going on that has no rhyme, nor reason, no.
Did you say no ream nor reason? Are you just making up words you found in the library over there?
No, I was thinking of Harry Reams.
What? How do you even know who that is? I thought you were like a good guy.
Anybody that grew up in the 70s didn't know who Harry Reams was, for crying out loud.
I don't know what you're saying right now. Like,
wow, she's pretty spectacular. This is not a half bad match here, Conrad.
No, it's not. And even in the sheets, it would get 3.25 stars.
Yeah.
By the way, I should mention their, ECW is pretty famous for their chants.
Right.
And I know that you haven't, really heard any ECW shows. You've just watched with the sound down. But there would be chants where there would be clapping, like, well, one without clapping would be like, holy shit,
right.
Or you fucked up.
Right.
Up. But then there are others, and they actually do one at one point, which is, she's a crack whore. And so what I'm hoping is maybe for like a holiday greeting.
Yeah.
We could maybe organize a couple of guys and do something special.
Sometime I ask a question and I get more than I bargained for from my good friend Conrad. For instance, on this clip from our Living Dangerously 1999 episode, I learned more than I ever wanted to know about one of wrestling's most notorious characters, the one and only New Jack.
All right. There's nobody else left in the dressing room to come out. Maybe I'm wrong. Axel fucking Rotten. And Balls Mahoney.
Mahoney is Mahoney, not Mahoney.
I know what it is.
Okay. Well, we're just going to pronounce shit fucked up the rest of the day.
Well, that's part of our charm.
Boy, you're an unover motherfucker.
Like restaurant.
By the way,
library.
You gonna sit there and no sell? This past week, I had the great pleasure of being in Charleston, West Virginia for the last time in my life. And, as we're waiting on the show to get going, I'm sitting in the back with, you and Dave Silva and Jim Ross, and a debate breaks out, or a discussion breaks out. And of course, Jim Ross is holding court as only Jim can. And he described someone as an unover motherfucker. And I've never seen you laugh with your shoulders more. Your shoulders were hysterically laughing.
Well, he can get me going, and he knows that. And I told him, and this is a shoot, guys. I told him this. I'm sometimes I don't say much during matches. It's because I'm listening to him and I'm enjoying what he is saying and how he's doing it. I'm kind of, I don't know, being a fan, marking out for listening to Jim call the matches. And all of a sudden I'm thinking, oh, I need to say something here, or there's no reason for me to be here. But he is, and listen, I listened to the podcast when he had his flight delay and his baggage was lost. Wow. Nobody like him, man. And we were having some fun in the back.
Dude, he is just another level.
Yes, he is.
I don't know when this switch flipped, but I'm glad it did. Here he comes, New Jack. Wow. One of my favorite performers to watch in ECW. Maybe one of the most controversial men in the history of professional wrestling.
And why do you say that? He's got a fucking vacuum cleaner.
Why do I say he's controversial?
Yeah. But because of the shit he did in the ring, or is there something else that maybe you've brought up this story before and I don't remember it, something else that he has done that made him controversial outside of the ring, or maybe he has a rap sheet? I don't, what is it?
He has no knuckles in his hands, and that's from, quote, beating a bitch in the eye. He's got a bunch of bullet tattoos, and those for all the justifiable homicides he has as a bounty hunter. He also tries to pull a guy off of a scaffold, and that guy falls on his head. He goes deaf, and he has a rematch with that man in a scaffold match. And then he throws the guy off the scaffold, and he's trying not to let him land on the tables to break the fall, but instead land on a ring post and murder him. And he admits that freely. And then he cut a 17-year-old from ear to ear.
Okay.
And he bled buckets, and they had lots of lawsuits about that. And then there was the time he beat up Gypsy Joe for real with an actual baseball bat in front of a crowd in the middle of a match, because I guess that wasn't going his way. And then he wrestled another guy, and that guy gave him a shoot punch, and that was enough for New Jack to reach in his pants and pull out a Freddy Krueger blade and stab him 17 times in the middle of the match. He also had a relationship with your great close personal friend, Terry Runnels.
Yes.
Where he said that she gave him a lot of STDs, and then he released horrific pictures and videos of her, including where he convinced her to blade herself. I mean, there's probably more. Should I keep going, or is that?
No, you've done more than enough. Do you think, is he incarcerated anywhere?
Oh, no. I mean, all I've heard is he's a great guy.
Sounds like it.
I'll tell you this. He is one of the old kings of the shoot interview.
Yeah.
Just really next level. And he's like in your old stomping grounds. He's in Greensboro.
Oh, well, there you go.
He used to like, try other things. One of the things he did was like a brief little hip hop stint. And his way of promoting his album was to say, buy the CD or I'll stab your motherfucking ass.
I pretty much get it about him.
What do you mean?
Enough said, as the late Stan Lee would have said. What do you think about all these bald motherfuckers that look the same?
Their name is the Baldies.
Okay.
That's their team name. They couldn't have a lot of hair with a team name like the Baldies.
I get it. Okay, I get it. They all kind of look the same. There's no uniqueness about them.
There's a big spot in this I think you're going to like.
Okay. Was that it right there?
No. You'll know it when you see it. You don't have to ask.
All right.
By the way, see those ECW letters in the background?
Yeah, you got those?
Yep, they're in the warehouse. Trying to trade them to WWE.
I still got a WCW thing for you.
No, you don't. You've also got a 6-man tag belt. I'm never going to see any of this stuff. That's what you do. See, when I say I'm going to do something to Tony Schiavone, that happens. When Tony Schiavone says he's going to do something for me, go fuck yourself.
You're awfully bitter today, and I don't get it. Maybe it's because we're watching ECW, or have you just taped a segment of Grillin' JR and he's got you all surly as well? I don't know.
What did I say that wasn't true, Anthony?
Hey, let me ask you a question. How's Eric doing? Okay.
He's great. Well, he's got food poisoning, but he's great.
Oh, good. Good for him.
He discovered food delivery services. You know, they didn't have that in Wyoming. He had to cook his own food. There were no restaurants or bars.
Right.
So, by the way, notice what's happening here. Are you seeing what's happening here?
Yes, I am.
Describe what you're seeing.
He's walking up a ladder.
Who's he? Who? Okay. And what do you think is behind that November to Remember banner?
I don't know what's behind it, but
it rhymes with basketball goal.
Oh, it's a basketball goal. And he is going to go on top of the basketball goal, which obviously is 10 feet. Oh, motherfucker. Let me ask you this question about New Jack. In his advanced age now, which obviously it's 30 years ago.
20,
right?
But whatever.
20 years ago, whatever. Is he all banged up? I mean, he's got to be. He's got to be.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He's got to be to the point to where he maybe can't get around. Does anybody reach out to him? Does anybody know what? I mean, he lives in Greensboro.
Yeah, he pops up every now and again.
Yeah.
Instead of meet and greets, he's got like stab and eats.
I would think that would be right.
Yeah, I thought about booking him for a StarCast for an eat and greet, and then I was like, we can't let him near the cutlery.
No, you're right.
It's funny because I was at one of the ECW arena shows I was at. He stabbed a motherfucker with a fork, and the fork was wrapped up with tape, but you could see the fork at the end, but like the handle was wrapped with tape, and it fell right in front of my seat, me and my buddy, and it's soaked in blood now. The red tape. I mean, the white tape is now red from blood. And he's like, "Oh man, you want that?" And I was like, "No, that's all yours, buddy." Man, that's an ultimate New Jack collectible. I'm like, well, you can have it. Did you know that when you do that, when you stab somebody in the head with a fork like that, they take a flat back? I need you to try that at dinner tonight with Matt or Chris.
No, I'm going to pass.
Staple gun spot. This must have been the initiation to be on Russo's podcast network. Bam.
Staple in the head.
Yeah.
All right. Fuck.
That's a New Jack original. He would put a little baby powder inside the guitar, so it made a big puff. I thought that was really a nice touch.
That was pretty innovative. And I think it's kind of what everybody did after that, right?
I think he may have been the first guy to do it, though.
Right. I'm saying he kind of set the standard after that. Everybody said, hey, that works, so we'll do it.
Do you think he used to just put baby powder on his nuts? Do you think New Jack was like a look? Because we know he's handy with a razor.
Yeah.
Do you think he was like just a low key manscape?
I'm going to say that I'm afraid to comment about him.
Oh, you think he's going to come stab you or whatever?
You never know. You've told me some crazy shit that he's done as we take a look at him off the top.
I love the way they used to shoot these, where it was like at an angle, sort of like 1960s Batman.
Right. Make it look askew. All right. I want to say something here.
Right, before you do, who would have thought out of this ring, New Jack, Balls Mahoney, and Axel, that New Jack will be the last one to survive?
I know. My God. Well, one thing you can say, if you're known to cut somebody, the people stay away from you.
By the way, that match got 1 star.
Yeah.
Meltzer would say, he also smashed a vacuum cleaner on Angel's groin, allowing Joey Styles to say how that sucks. The match was built for one spot where New Jack would come off the top of a basketball backboard onto Angel through a table. It was probably a 12-foot drop to the table, exaggerated to 20 on the broadcast. They got in the ring and New Jack stapled LaGrasso, but Angel hit him from behind with the guitar and pinned him. Angel looks to have some charisma. 1 star.
I agree with that 1 star. Let me tell you why. It was just too much. I think there is a, and I don't know what that line is that you cross over where it's like too much. And I think that was it, to the point to where the fucking match didn't mean anything. We're just, okay, he jumped off the top of a basketball goal 15 feet in the air, or 20. And what do you do after that? Really? A guitar shot to the head wins it? I just think it was too much. To me, it got fucking crazy. Make any sense to you?
Sure.
Why'd you say it like that? I think it's a valid point.
Okay.
I know you better than that.
You guys have had the most ridiculous hardcore matches ever in AEW in the last,
Yeah, but
months.
we didn't. Come on. We didn't do that.
You had Joey Janela barefoot walking around thumbtacks. You put a guy through a glass coffee table. Just 2 weeks ago. You had Jimmy Havoc take a power bomb on 2 folding chairs sideways.
Mm-hmm. That was some good shit, wasn't it?
That was way worse than.
Oh no, it was not. It was too much. This match was just out of control to the point to where, okay, here's the point. Too many people.
Boy,
Too many people.
Just say, I can't say anything negative about AEW, but I don't like this. So but hang on. Here comes, if we got to put over Francine, we got to put over my baby. Here she comes.
Yes, sir, man.
By the way, you would have loved Chris Candido. He's no longer with us. He died from a bullshit blood clot, but he was way too young. And right here, Sunny is definitely, not at the peak of where she was. She's in the thralls of addiction here, but she's still Roll Tide.
I met Chris. They work for us. Sonny and Chris did.
Yeah, but I mean, you would have liked his work outside of WCW.
Right. I know you love blondes. And buddy, she is blonde and beautiful.
By the way, as she was getting in the ring, they zoomed up her butthole there, and immediately Joey said, you can see a high definition photo of that, a digital photo of that at ECWwrestling.com right now.
Whoa.
I love that they're just so shameless about, hey, Go check out this girl's butthole. ECWWrestling.com.
Bet you that got plenty of clicks.
Oh, I was on it already. I can tell you.
How did it look? Just like another butthole, right?
Folks, one thing you have to say about WHW is that we have a lot of fun. And part of the fun, as you know, is when we get tremendously off topic, as we do here on the recent episode on a very hard to pay attention to ECW pay-per-view, 34th Street Massacre.
What's great is last week I had what I thought was a great line.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it murders in real life every time I do it. And I've been doing that line for at least 10 years.
I know. I've heard it a lot.
And it crushes every time.
Mm-hmm.
But I let it slip on the show and immediately text you like, oh, wish I had that one back. Some people are going to look at that wrong. And I just need to pull that one back in. And you're like, no problem. I'll clip it out because I've got to clip out this word that I said too. And we laughed.
Yep.
And then the show dropped and my fucking Twitter blew up with my line. And I'm like, oh no. And
yeah,
there starts the discourse.
And it woke me up. Your call, your text, it woke me up and I immediately ran to the computer, called the fucker up, did my little magic and reloaded the motherfuckers. Went back to bed.
We got to get our shit together, Tony.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, by the way, speaking of getting their shit together, man, I've got some really exciting news for you.
Oh, I love exciting news. My life, since I've met you, has been nothing but exciting news, one after the other.
Well, I got a few things here for you.
Okay. Do they involve money?
No.
Okay, well, good. That's fine. Food.
Kinda.
Pussy.
Yes.
Now we're talking.
Great close personal friend of the show, Whitney Wright.
Okay, we're on the right line here. Okay.
She's been nominated for a bunch, and I mean a bunch of awards.
It does not surprise me.
Like girl scene of the year and stuff like that. But how about performer of the year?
Oh, congratulations for being nominated, Whitney.
Dude, this is like the Academy Awards of adult stuff.
Right.
This is like winning the Wrestling Observer, Wrestler of the Year.
Right.
The press release says the rising superstar is nominated for Best Female Performer, Best Actress for her role in Sweet Sinners, What We Do for Money, and Best Girl Action Scene for Sweetheart Video's Girls of Wrestling. Wright is also an honored nominee for the Special Recognition Award for her writing and directing work this year, including Pure Taboo's Lesbian Revenge and From Afar, as well as Missa X titles, Obeying Instinct, and I don't know how to say that other one. Either way, 4 nominations, count them, 1, 2, 3, 4. And, we're proud of her, man. She's putting in good work out there.
Are you going to go to the award ceremony?
No, I'm not allowed.
Yeah. It wouldn't be a good place to show up.
In fact, anytime she does something, like when she got nominated, I was like, hey, Megan, check this out. Whitney got nominated for these awards. And she's like, who? I was like, Whitney, girl sent the video in for Tony's birthday. Mm-hmm. And she's like, who? I show her the picture and she's like, oh, fuck off.
Yeah. Yeah. I get it. Well, congratulations, Whitney.
Oh, and the rumor and innuendo, and this could be way off base.
All right.
Here's what I'm most excited to tell you.
Yeah. Okay.
Cause she's a huge Tony Schiavone fan. As a matter of fact, we need to get that video posted to social this week. So Silva Hancock, if you're listening, let's get that fired up this week.
Do they listen?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sent a very sweet birthday message to you.
Yes, she did.
At Starcast. It was great. Anyway, the rumor and innuendo.
Mm-hmm.
She's single now.
What?
And not only that, she's a big Tony Schiavone fan.
Okay.
And by the way, I should admit, this is just random, I've got to make one cross country flight by the end of the year to get to diamond status on Delta this year. So I could technically jump on a plane between now and the end of the year to LA if you want to just ride out there and sit a spell and come back.
Well, that's intriguing, but I got a lot of shit going on, you know?
No, I'm only suggesting we stay for a night. I'll be your DD or whatever, and you can cut loose. I'll take you to Dan Tanis. Get you a little Italian food. We could go.
Well, if I'm going to go out to California, I'm going to go out and see my friends out there, like Matt and Nick and Excalibur.
Well, you see them every week. Why wouldn't you see
Brandon.
Ron Funches? Congratulate him on his engagement. Great close personal friend of the show. Got a great girlfriend that
Yes,
Megan and
I met
got
her.
to know, and we could go out there and take them to dinner and see some comedy and you know, to see what sort of shenanigans you could get into. We could make a date of it, if you know what I'm saying.
How's that diamond status?
I don't know. I've never had it, dude.
Yeah.
I've never had it. This is my first time, you know, but when I've had this many Delta flights in the same year.
Right. I'm, right now, as we speak, I'm at gold status.
I was gold forever in these last 2 years, thanks to the live shows. I got to platinum, but I'm only 768 MQMs away from diamond. And I don't even really know what that means, but, other friend of the show, Corey Ryan Forrester's like, oh, you got to get that, dude. Like, what do you mean? He's like, well, you've just been booking and paying for first class. If you just get a comedy comfort, they're going to bump you up right away because of your status. I'm like, wait a minute now. That's a big difference fare wise. He's like, yeah. So I started running the numbers and I'm like, oh shit, this could be like a tens of thousands of dollars swing here. I got to make this happen. So at some point, at least for a day, I'm taking one. It didn't even have to be cross country. I was just saying that for Whitney purposes.
Okay.
I'll scoot up to New York and back or something and make it happen.
Okay. So as you know, I'm trying to steer this conversation to any direction that would not get me in trouble. I'm 17,000 miles away from gold. First of all, I'm glad that Corey Ryan Forrester told you that because I'm glad he's worth something.
Yeah. Cause he is, as you know, useless.
Useless. My question is, so I'm 17,000 miles away and I can purchase 18,000 miles before the end of the year and get platinum status, which would cost about $600. Is it worth spending that money to go from gold to platinum, or am I just wasting money?
No, I think it's worth it.
Really?
Cause if you got upgraded on 2 flights over the course of the year, you'd be good to go. Is it in your contract that you fly first anyway?
No, it's not.
Then you
I pay for first.
Don't do that.
Really?
Spend your $600.
Okay. I mean, it's every flight that I'm on when we have, members of our staff, our crew get on the flight and I'm sitting up front, they'll say, oh, first class, huh? They don't know I'm paying for it. So we got some juice here. Tommy Dreamer.
This is the best match on the show. We're talking right over it because I'm thinking about your little Peter meat and Whitney Wright.
I was thinking about my frequent flyer miles.
Well, I was trying to get you involved with Whitney Wright. She's single. She's nominated for Performer of the Year, and she's a big fan of yours. And she's a very talented lady.
Oh, that's I'm not going to argue with. Ooh.
Let's talk about something else.
Oh.
Congratulations on your near immediate sellout of the next AEW pay-per-view. Yet another one in Chicago. This one going down in February, right after, or same weekend as C2E2. And, great close personal friend of the show, Gabe Yoakum, is the guy, sort of the unsung hero who helped put that deal together. He was actually trying to do that deal in 2018 for 2019. But I think the EVPs thought, well, it's too close to All In. Just did Chicago. Don't need to go right back to Chicago. But a year later, it made sense. And I know it's, of all the live shows you and I have done, you enjoyed the one at C2E2 the most.
Yes, I did. Because as you know, I'm a big mark for comic books and superheroes. And I went to C2E2 last year. Eric Bischoff and I signed autographs next to the Young Bucks, and this was before I even knew the Young Bucks and knew Dana, and I walked around C2E2, and all the money that I made, I spent. Got to meet some of the cartoonists, famous cartoonists of Batman. Loved it. So and this is going to be the first show by AEW within the city limits of Chicago, and I can't wait to be there.
Yeah, it's a cool arena, Wintrust Arena. It's a very cool building where C2E2 is, McCormick Place, and stay tuned. There will be a live show there, most likely 2 live shows, one of which will be Tony Schiavone and Jim Ross, and I'm trying to put that together to where we'll be able to do the show the night before the pay-per-view, like after you guys' production meeting. Come make everybody laugh, stay up late with us, and then get in the mode for the next day. And the next day I'm trying to work out a little matinee show, with, another one of my co-hosts. So
very cool.
Should be a full wrestling weekend, lots of meet and greets and lots of fun live shows. And it'll be a fun time. Every time I've been to Chicago for wrestling, I've been working. So it'll be cool to go and not have to.
Right. So is Gabe go get us a table on the floor?
Did you not hear everything I just said?
Yeah. Well, I heard that yes. Okay, good. Gabe, you the man, buddy. You the man. And I'm so look at Tommy's bleeding his ass off here.
Hey, did I tell you about the attempted robbery? Have we talked about this at all?
No.
Yeah. Bunch of fucking dudes in masks, dude.
Where?
Here at the Conradison.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Are you being serious now?
Why would I make that up?
Well, I don't know. Why do you make up a lot of this shit on the air? Go ahead.
What have I made up?
Just some things about me wanting to go to LA and see what. But anyway,
I didn't say you made that up. No. I was offering to go with you. Look at this guy.
Is this the towel boy?
Yes. Okay. Eric Tuttle.
Eric Tuttle. I have relatives that are named Tuttle. Tommy. Way to give it to him, Tommy.
Tornado DDT.
Yes, sir. 1, 2. Oh, and he kicked out. There you go. All right. So please tell me about this robbery, because I hate to say this, but I'm going to say it. But go ahead. Tell me about it first of all.
No. Go ahead. What do you hate to say?
If they came into your house with mask on, I hope somebody killed them.
Well, that escalated quickly.
Mm-hmm.
No, there was a bunch of dudes in masks, and I mean, they just tried to take over, and luckily the only violence is when they were trying to punch me, but they missed by several feet. And I realized this must be the Dark Order. They're not here to hurt me. They're here to recruit me. And then I realized, it's just No Holds Barred Christmas. It was Matt Coon, Michael Dawkins, Rotten Crotch, Hancock. But no, you got to appreciate a bunch of fat dudes in masks come in, start throwing terrible working punches that miss me. I assume it's the Dark Order. I didn't realize that it was actually just my friends playing a rib.
Like this whole story is.
Yeah. Come on, dude. If I can't fuck with you about the creepers, what can I fuck with you about?
No. I thought for a minute that somebody broke into your house, and that's why I said kill them.
By the way, I'm just being a bandwagon dude, because me and you have talked about this before. Mm-hmm. I think those two guys, I'm talking about the wrestlers on Dark Order, Uno and Grayson, they're getting a bad rap on this whole deal. Why are people being shitheads online for real? I'm just fucking with you just because you're my friend.
Yeah.
But I don't understand why people are so down on it.
Well, people are shitheads online because people online are shitheads.
Their matches are good. It's a different gimmick. The recruitment videos they've been doing, even though they think Louis Benson and Conrad Thompson are the same person, we're fucking definitely different people. I'm funny and entertaining. He's annoying. So we're way different. No comment on that.
Yeah. You are there. Listen, there is nobody in the world like Weird Louie.
No, Louie's another level weird.
Oh, there's no there.
Sweet guy. I'm not shitting on Louie. Louie's my friend. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Oh,
I love Louie. Louie's a talented guy. And not only that, now that we're talking about him right now, he's probably replaying it and jacking off to it.
Well,
that we're talking about.
All of these terrible impressions you hear at the beginning of the show that I don't even know are there. And people ask me about when I'm in public and I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? We don't have impressions on our show unless it's me doing Diamond or Tommy Rich, his old carburetor. And they're like, no, at the beginning of the show, promotional consideration. I'm like, what the fuck are you saying right now? And then I listen to one and I'm like, God damn, this is Louie doing the world's worst impression right here. What the fuck is Tony Schiavone doing in our show? So anyway, if you hate all of that, you hate Louie just as much as I do.
Louie doesn't do all of them.
Just for the purposes of our story, Tony.
Okay.
He does them all.
He's been doing most of them lately. Okay. WHW can be inappropriate, crude, thanks to Conrad Thompson, but once in a while, we can eventually talk about wrestling. On all counts, you'd have to consider Conrad and myself guilty as charged. Here are a couple of highlights from 2 episodes covering ECW events of the same name. Guilty as Charged, 2000 and 2001.
Have you Spider-Man before?
No.
I've always felt like you would be like a monkey in your cage at your house. Because you told us before that Lois won't give you any and that you guys have hallway sex. Do you want to explain what that is?
Yeah, that's when we walk by each other in the hallway and say, fuck you.
So I just assume that when you're in the back cave, you're probably pulling up some old Whitney Wright videos, just wearing yourself out. And then she walks by and like a monkey at the zoo, instead of him flinging poo, you're flinging goo. And I think Tony flung goo. It's not just a dish at your favorite Asian restaurant. It's also
a shirt at LoisRules.com. Oh God.
I guess we can tell the truth. I mean, that's the reason, WCW went under, as there were so many, cases of you waka, 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 and then just throwing it at the Nitro girls as they walk by.
Jesus Christ.
What?
You have, it's a new low for you.
What did I do now?
Yeah. Tony killed the business. Tony's a shitty announcer. Tony is a suck up. Tony's a piece of shit. But now Tony's a fucking degenerate dirtbag flinging cum.
Well, I didn't say it like that. You just made it sound real bad. You made it sound like real bad.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh.
And it wasn't real bad.
Yeah, jeez. Speaking of, look at this, man. Holy shit. That would just scare the fuck out of me. Knowing his reputation, seeing him come to the ring with all that shit.
Yeah. As well it should, man. He'd stab a motherfucker. One of the all-time greats. I wish you could have been there to see him. I know a lot of people are going to laugh when I say that, but being at an ECW show and he was doing his thing, man, it was fucking cool.
Oh yeah. And you can better believe it could be some blood here, isn't it? What the fuck is that? He just, okay. Oh God. Let's see. What's this? This is a staple gun? No. Oh, it's a cheese shredder. Oh, fuck.
It's a what now?
A cheese shredder. See, cheese has 2 E's in it.
I like the way you're doing that.
Cheese shredder.
That's pretty cool the way you're doing that.
Thank you. For an old pervert that flings cum, not too bad, huh?
I really can't believe you're talking like that. We're trying to do good, clean show here. And
yeah, really? Our show's clean?
Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention someone, I saw someone recently describe your weekly visit on Patreon as lifeless. And it really made me happy.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, why don't you have a weekly visit on Patreon and bring some life into it, fucker?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying it made me happy because they clearly listen to the show and know that Lois has just sucked the life out of you. And not in a good way, not in like a Francine, Steve Carino kind of way, but just like, well, my life is over. Yeah, I'm here, guys. Yeah, she's downstairs. Yeah, wrestling. Please kill me now. Here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking on Patreon, you should do some raps.
Some rats?
Okay. Well, I wasn't expecting that, but yeah, I think that would be, everybody's heard about the button.
Okay.
Speaking of the button, did we ever tell everybody about the very special present you got at your birthday party back in November? Cause I don't think that the button was discussed.
No, we got a plaque, and Dave Silva was holding the plaque close to him, and I'm thinking, those nice guys got me a plaque. Isn't that nice? I wonder what the inscription's going to say. And then the little fucker turned it around, and it was a button on a fur coat.
You didn't like that?
No, I thought it was very thoughtful. And Lois said, "You're not going to put that up in the room, are you?" I said, "Yeah, of course I am. It's part of the charm of my friends." So yeah, I got the button on a fur coat on a wooden plaque.
On a wooden plaque.
Mm-hmm. Nicely done.
Isn't that great?
Great. Awesome.
I feel like you're not telling the truth.
No, I know. I really, gosh, hey, Conrad, that was one of the biggest days of my life.
Well, it's nice to hear.
It was. I've never had a birthday party ever, even when I was younger.
And now that you're very, very old, each one could be the last one.
That's right. Let's get him one before he goes. This over in the Conrad Thompson section here.
Let's see if we can see me here.
They're walking away from you now. I think I saw you right when they tumbled over in there.
Man, I love New Jack. And by the way, what a great gimmick he had. Hey, I'm going to just come down to the ring while they blare rap music, and I'm just going to bring a trash can of weapons, and I'm just going to hit you with all of it. So if you'll just sell them all, that'd be good.
Sell them all. That'd be good. And if you don't, we'll make sure you do the hard way. Haven't seen much blood here yet.
Oh, don't you worry.
Hook.
I got to tell you, I'm pretty excited about this week's Tony Reed's Rap. Do you want me to give you a preview?
Oh God. I was hoping you forgot about that.
Listen, if you want to make that a New Year's resolution, we can make this the last one if you'd like.
Well, no, because you get pissed off at me.
No. Well, this show's about you, buddy. It's not about
you
me.
Shame me.
I shame you.
Yeah. Try to make me feel bad. We had something good going. Fans loved it. You shit on it.
No, I won't do that. We'll just do what you want to do. Next week.
No, see.
Next week we'll do show tunes.
I could have danced all night. I could have danced all night and still have begged for more. See, isn't that nice?
I'm for it. So next week, Tony does show tunes.
No.
What?
What rap song you got for me?
Well, I don't even want to talk about it.
Oh, see, me.
I'm still working on it.
Okay. Oh boy, they're promoting the Acclaim Hardcore Revolution video game here, aren't they? Big time. Oh, and they lost the sign. Put that sign back up.
It's the most WCW thing ever, is it not?
It really is. But that's like, fuck, crazy motherfucker. There's just no way. No way that you can do that bump and not hurt yourself. What? Yikes. There we go.
Try to call this.
Left hands. He's bleeding profusely. New Jack into the stands. Who's he wrestling again?
Nick Grimes.
Nick Grimes. Here's a look at him once again. Oh, that stupid motherfucker. What's he thinking? He's going to kill the business.
Nick Grimes is who took the table bump. That's Angel dragging him around by the nape of the neck.
Okay. Wow. It's like everybody else, but New Jack is bleeding here. New Jack may have internal injuries. Yeah. I guess so.
So, what's new on your New Year's resolutions list?
I want to lose some more weight.
Okay.
I kind of like, lost 50 pounds and then I gained 3 of it back. Went from 219 to 222. I want to get down below 200 or around 200. So I want to do that. I'm also going to buy a bicycle.
Okay.
And I'm going to ride on the trail again. Right over in Alabama.
Okay.
On the Silver Comet Trail. And that's about it. Oh, I want to do some improvements on the house. Don't know if I'll be able to or not.
Why not?
Pay off bills, obviously, that's first. And I'm doing that. I'm very happy to say I'm doing that. So that's about it. Maybe get some pussy.
Really?
Yeah, but I don't know if that'll happen.
Who's going to be the victim?
Well, it's got to be Lois, and I just don't know if she's,
Wait. Who decided it's got to be Lois?
Well, I did.
Okay.
Unless there's somebody else you have in mind.
I love you.
Is there somebody else? I don't know. I don't know. I mean, you talked to Whitney. I don't know.
Oh yeah. Well, listen, I can line that up. She's single now.
You're teasing me now.
No, I'll hit her up right in front of you right now. I mean, I was texting with her. She signed up for a Patreon, Tony.
No, we've not.
Okay, so I think you'll like this, and shout out to Danny, who I believe listens to the show. I know he's a great close personal friend of Jeff Jones, and I know we follow each other on Twitter, so he probably listens to the podcast. But he's one of the first guys to come through Taz's school, and they had like a dojo, old school type training facility in Philadelphia that ECW put together, and Taz was like the head trainer. And Doring was one of the very first graduates, and Taz he beat the shit out of the guys in terms of just their conditioning. And I mean, it was very old school respect. So you hear a lot about how, Buddy Lee Parker would wear the guys out at the power plant. Same thing happening here in Philadelphia. So for you to go through Taz's school, you definitely paid your dues, and Doring did that. But the idea here is that he's going to be a more classic wrestler. So as everybody else in ECW is doing these crazy flips, so they're doing these hardcore matches with all the weapons and violence and brawling, he's just going to grab a dude and put him in a headlock and lay down. And the crowd would start to chant boring and he would think they're chanting for him during.
That's pretty cool.
So that's the idea of the gimmick. Now that doesn't last long. He eventually just becomes just a good in-ring wrestler, and they pair him up here with Roadkill, and that became a thing. So him and Roadkill are your tag champs. And Roadkill, are you familiar with Roadkill?
Haven't we done a show with Roadkill on here?
Yeah, I'm not sure if we have or not, but he, his original name, I think, was Amish Roadkill. So the idea is he's an Amish person. So we have an Amish gimmick here, and what he would do with this big beard, and the no mustache and the big hat and he's dressed like an Amish person. He would just wring his hands together right in front of the camera and go, chickens. I don't know why he did that. I just know that he did.
Well,
so, I mean, I really need you.
The Amish. Okay.
Next time, Lois is like, Tony, what do you want me to cook? I want you to go over and just chickens.
I'll wring my hands, get right in her face.
I think it'd be great. And then if she gets mad, just get that bitch a dilly bar.
Chickens. Well, the Amish raised chickens, I guess. And he liked chickens as roadkill, right? I don't know.
The idea is, of course, there is no roadkill if you're Amish. You're doing clip claps, horse and buggy time. You're not throwing people in your Forerunner.
Right.
So there is no roadkill,
right?
But it's still funny.
Just him wrestling in this Amish getup is funny.
Chickens. There you go. So Easy Money, you actually saw a little bit of in WCW, and I find it to be an interesting garb here because he's got these interesting pants and they're sort of see-through. So you can see that homie's wearing a black thong.
Oh,
what are your thoughts on wrestlers and thongs? You for it?
No.
Well, hang on now. You were all excited a minute ago when Dawn Marie was out there in a thong and Francine was what's wrong with old Easy Money's thong?
It's just, it's not me, man. What the fuck? What are you trying? This is entrapment. That's what this is. It's entrapment.
How?
You're trying to make me, okay. If Tom Zink was in a thong, maybe so.
Okay. So now you're just playing favorites.
Yeah. And what's wrong with playing favorites?
Well, nothing, I guess.
Okay. Watch out. Here we go. Over the top. Oh, holy shit. Did Roadkill hit the back of his head on that safety rail? Fuck. Oh my God.
This is not going to be the best match on the card, but it's not the worst either.
Yeah.
We're going to get a star and a quarter. I guess we should sort of tell you the backstory. Meltzer wrote, in what may have been the swan song of the promotion, ECW promised a holy shit surprise, which prompted debates over methods of promotion today, as well as if there is any future left with the company in the wake of losing its New York television, canceling next month's pay-per-view, and not even producing a new TV show in the go-home week before a pay-per-view show. Guilty is charged on January 7th before a sellout crowd of 2,500 fans at the Hammerstein Ballroom in New York was the usual ECW show. It came across, with the exception of the return of Rob Van Dam, as more of a regular house show than anything special on pay-per-view. Everyone worked hard, and there were some booking holes that were gigantic. But good or bad, and it was more good than bad, that news paled in comparison to the big news. After the show, Paul Heyman was still saying the company wasn't going to shut down. However, there are only 2 shows left on the schedule. Sold shows in Poplar Bluff, Missouri, and Pine Bluff, Arkansas this coming weekend. At press time, nobody had gotten plane tickets for these shows, which is out of the ordinary, but not unheard of. There was a March 11th date for the next pay-per-view announced during the show, although no venue was announced for the event. But ironically, with Rhino versus Van Dam for the title, and Doring and Roadkill versus Whipwreck and Tajiri versus Credible and Carino for the tag titles, it appears for the first time in a long time that there is a logical show-to-show progression coming out of this one. It is possible to promote pay-per-view shows every other month without any television or running few, if any, house shows. UFC survived doing it for 7 years, but UFC is one of literally dozens that have tried. So the odds aren't good to run that way. Unlike ECW, however, UFC hasn't had $100,000 per week payroll to meet, but without a backer, those days of even attempting to meet that kind of payroll are over. Like UFC, ECW does have the brand name and cult following, and more importantly, it has the entire 40 million home pay-per-view universe to draw from, while UFC has limped along with only the Dish networks in Canada, which probably total 20% of that figure. Tony, you're knee deep in the wrestling business at this point, January of 2001. You're worried about the mortality of what a maneuver of WCW.
Yeah.
Are you keeping up with ECW at fucking all? Like, is anybody in the back even saying, man, what's going to go on with ECW? And if they do you even notice?
Nope. Completely ignored it. Absolutely, completely ignored it, because I thought, by January of 2001, I'm thinking, we're fucked. I'm looking for a job. I'm not worried about what's going on with Paul Heyman's world. And you know what? To be honest with you, it's a selfish way to be, but I'm worried about myself only and how I'm going to support 5 kids. So I'm looking for a job. I don't give a fuck what's going on at ECW. And there you go. That's the best I can say, because it's true. I mean, maybe, you think maybe I should have been more concerned about the business at this venture in my life? I mean, I'm not going to go to ECW because they're getting ready to go out of business. I'm not going to be received well at ECW. So I just try to stay out of the wrestling business. I know the WWE doesn't want me. So no, I didn't pay attention to this shit at all. I didn't even think I know now, thanks to you, I know now that they were a big factor in the wrestling business, but they didn't come across that way to me.
Right.
That time. To me, it was just 2. It was us and the WWF back then. These guys were a non-entity as far as I was concerned. And I don't know if that's just Schiavone arrogance, Schiavone idiocy, or what that is, but wow. That's pretty fucking cool. Doring with a hell of a move there. Hell of a maneuver, and the fans are into it.
Lots of innovation here.
Yeah.
I guess we should mention,
wow.
Meltzer would say wrestlers received half pay at the show, leaving them 7 weeks behind.
Good God.
The morale was said to be very bad, with the news getting around that despite claims to the contrary earlier in the week that ECW had lost its TV on MSG in New York, its key market, and the show didn't even air the night before the pay-per-view in that market. Trying to garner hope because Farm Club on its show was airing video clips of ECW action on USA also ended up demoralizing, since Farm Club has its own financial problems as well as a major ratings decline and hasn't shown ECW clips the last few weeks. There were not even the hints given that a TV deal was on the verge of being announced, and Heyman didn't even produce a new television show since his other key market, Philadelphia, hadn't gotten the tape of the show for last weekend. So that tape aired this week, and many were questioning if TV would be produced from this point forward. So not only did they lose their network deal, but their syndicated deal, they're going to have to give up on that and abandon that too.
Wow. It was obviously not a good place to work at that time on many levels.
Have you seen Chris Hamrick before? That's who just jumped in.
No, I've not. I've seen him do some shit here though.
I think you'd like Chris Hamrick. I think he'd be on your list. I think you would consider him like the long lost Armstrong.
Does he have like stars and bars there?
He does. Yeah. That's his gimmick.
Okay. They're doing some crazy shit here, man. Look at this. Now that's fucking cool, isn't it? Fuck yeah. That's a hell of a finish. Holding him like that for Doring to come off. Yeah. The match probably wasn't that great, but I like the finish. And then again, I guess this was ECW, and this is kind of like what has stood the test of time. Just high spots for the sake of doing high spots. Right?
Yep.
And I never did appreciate it. I appreciate it much more now than I did, but we saw a lot of that. They didn't fucking win. Let me ask you also this. Who was the girl at ringside? There was a girl at ringside in blue. Did you see her?
Yeah. Let me think about it. She was in, she was in The Sopranos. I know her. Let me think of her name. I know she was in this.
That wasn't, Jamie Lynn.
Electra.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. No, now we get a run in. Fucking, they're working over our Rebel Boy here. Pretty good.
So this is Nova. I think you've seen the BWO before. He was Supernova, and he would go on to portray like a fitness character, a fitness guru, like a Tony Little type character in the WWF. They called him Simon Dean, which is sort of a poke at Dean Malenko. And that didn't really work. This is definitely the coolest version of Nova, though. Nova had a reputation for being an innovator in the ring, similar to Chris Kanyon, and now he's completely out of the business, and I believe he works in the mortgage banking field.
He almost looks like
he's in great shape here too.
He really is.
I guess we should mention that I believe he's the first guy he's the first guy I heard say it. He may not be the first person to say it, but he's the first guy I heard say, I would take a bullet for Dr. Tom, but I would put one in Bruce.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Bruce getting some heat in the wrestling business. Didn't realize that.
Wow. Are you kidding? Bruce had a reputation. He was a heat magnet.
Yeah. Of course he was.
Still is probably.
Yeah. I would think that right now, as you and I sit here watching the show here in 2019, that Bruce has probably more heat now than he's ever had.
No, definitely not more. He hasn't brought a gun to work yet.
Sorry. Silly me. Forgot that story. Missile drop kick.
Although I'll tell you, after Raw these last few weeks, I want to take the gun to work for him.
Thanks for joining us for this very special and, did I mention, rare Best of WHW Monday. Make sure to join us each week here on Wednesdays, or if you'd like the show a little earlier, ad-free, with some amazing fun bonuses, check us out on Patreon. Hey guys, it's been fun and I'm desperately out of time, but let's squeeze in just a little more fun from our episode on Living Dangerously 1999. For Conrad Thompson, I'm Tony Schiavone. We'll see you next week on WHW Monday.
Are you in the loop on Jushin Liger's theme music? I'm not playing it now, I promise, but have you heard it before?
No.
That's awesome. It's just like a fucking video game sounding open. You would love it. And then this lady goes, Jushin Liger. That's awesome.
Okay.
Thought you'd enjoy that.
Does it go dun 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 dun?
Oh my God.
Dun 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 dun.
By the way, I feel like I should mention that one of our Sunday panels at StarCast will be Jerry Lynn and Rob Van Dam revisiting their rivalry from 1999. And this match was one of those matches.
Wonder what promoter put that, probably just a fan, put that one together. I'm thinking just, freestyling here. Not sure. Wow. How about that move they just did from the top to the chair? Fuck, from the ropes to like a Frankensteiner.
You being a dick?
No, I'm not being a dick.
Sounds like you might be being a dick.
I'm just speaking real here. These guys, we get it. You do some great shit. Get the chair out of the ring. You're going to kill yourself. Oh, I thought he was going to try DDT on the chair. Yeah, like right there. Oh, holy shit. I don't think you can work that, dudes. I think you can try to tuck the head a little bit in, and I'm talking about a wrestling move here. Try to tuck the head a little bit in, and then work it, but I don't think you can work a DDT on a chair.
I don't know why that got me, but it did.
Well,
Oh my God.
I'm in ECW mood here. What can I say? I'm in an ECW mood. There's a new song. I'm in an ECW mood.
It was just funny because I didn't see it coming. And this past week with Bruce, we were talking about a match where the Undertaker was wrestling Triple H. And it was the first time that Triple H had used a gimmick sledgehammer. And he actually hurt the Undertaker with the sledgehammer. He had never hurt anybody with a sledgehammer before, but when he used a gimmick one, I guess he thought he could just use it for real, and it busted him open for real. And when I described it as gimmicked, Bruce said, well, hang on now. The head was gimmicked, but the wood was real. And I fucking died laughing. I just wasn't ready for that. Well, hang on now. God, that tickled me.
Oh, that's a good one. Oh. Oh, well, some of the funniest things are unplanned shit. They say, what the fuck, man?
Oh man, Van Daminator. And then he spills out, goes through a table, and the crowd goes bananas. There's Bad Money Slim running around with that fucking whistle.
I know.
Why did we encourage that?
I don't know.
That was you. That was not me.
Oh, he's going to have the gimmick. He's going to have his gimmick grill. He's going to have his shitty looking suit. He's going to have his sunglasses and then have a whistle on the side of his mouth. What have we created on this show?
You did it.
Yeah, me. Right. Me.
Wasn't me.
Sure wasn't. You don't create anything.
I'm just a fan. Have I told you lately that you're mean?
I'm not mean. I have spent 3 or 4 minutes of the thing comparing you to a savior, and you're calling me mean.
Well, that was sacrilegious.
What are they trying to do here? Okay.
Are you okay?
Yeah, it just looked like to me for a minute that they were trying to pull the tape up. When they were taping the cord for the camera cable, trying to pull it up. 1, 2, got a 2 count.
1, 2. Like you just start randomly counting.
Well, it's kind of a reactionary thing.
You don't mean for it to, it just happens.
Yeah, right. When I see a guy cover a guy, I go 1, 2.
He got him. No, he didn't.
Yeah. Oh. That's why it's watch on top. Ooh, split leg moonsault. Fuck. That's why it's never a good idea. Lois was in the hospital.
Again?
No, not again. But when she was in the hospital, it's never a good idea for me to go to a hospital.
Why?
Because I'll see somebody in there in the bed and I'll say, he's down for the count.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at SaveWithConrad.com.